Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. I hope it is as sunny and gorgeous where you are as it is where I am right now. Of course, I'm sitting inside looking out at the beautiful sunshine, so something needs to get fixed there. But anyway, if you are just tuning in, my name is Gila Kurtz. I am one of the co-founders and co-owners of Dog is Good, a lifestyle brand for dog lovers. And as my guest, the lovely Megan Masters, just shared with me, what I personally know to be true, but I hope it's true for you too, is that the Dog is Good brand speaks to who dog lovers are as people. You just see yourself in the message, and that's what makes us happy, and that's why we love doing what we do. So one of the cool things, actually, what I love so much about doing this show every week is the people that I get to meet and what they do and how they impact the world of dog and the world of humans all at the same time. And so one of our fans and customers recommended reaching out to Megan, or maybe Megan reached out to us. I forget the way it went down, but nonetheless, once we saw what she was doing, we absolutely wanted to share her with you guys because y'all out there are doing some great things. And I want to ask you right now, too, if you do know people who are doing some amazing things in the world of pet and how that impacts people, because I want it to come full circle, please let us know. Please reach out to our team. In fact, Janelle will pop in a link where you can send them recommendations on people that you want to see on the show so that we can share them with the world. So anyway, I'm going to introduce Megan to you more formally in just a second. But before I do, a reminder that we always do a giveaway. Every single week, we want to give you something to remember the theme and to remember us. And so you can enter to win a prize, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Very appropriate design for this show. And then you need to join the private group. So we have the Dog is Good Facebook page, but what you really want to be part of is the Dog is Good lifestyle group, because those are dog lovers from all over the world, and they are sharing their photos and their stories and connecting, and it's just a really wonderful community to be in. And in fact, if you are watching, I cannot see all of you who are watching, so I'd love for you to just say hello and share this with your dog-loving friends, post it on your wall, invite people. Hi, Judy, Samantha's on, Nell's on. Yay! My little fur-covered wisdom crew. I love you guys. So please do share. And speaking of fur-covered wisdom, everybody, if you are not getting, and I know, I talk about this every week because I'm telling you, you will love it. If you are not getting a note from your dog every single week to inspire you to show up a little bit differently in the course of that week, you are missing out. So if you haven't, just please, you can do that so easily by clicking on the link that we'll provide. And I promise you, you'll really enjoy them. They do make a difference. And if you know somebody that you think would enjoy it, feel free to send it to them so that they can sign up as well. Now, what are we giving away? This is one of my favorite designs. No Dog Left Behind. Here we go. It's a women's t-shirt. The same color as the one Megan's wearing, which Megan says, OMG, forgot to have children. I know a lot of you out there have your fur babies. And that's a great thing. So yes, you can pop into the link, register for that free giveaway, and we will announce the winner in our private Facebook group called the Dog is Good Lifestyle Group. So okay, let's see. Anybody else popping in just yet? If you're not, just remember to share. And if you're catching us on the replay, we do this every Wednesday at about 2 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so let's get to our guest. This is Megan Masters, and this is what she does. Some very important work. Megan spends her time volunteering at 2 dog rescues and was the ASL instructor with the new Leash on Life program in North Carolina. This program partners inmates and dogs in local shelters to give dogs professional training while simultaneously allowing the inmates to serve the community. During her time volunteering, she noticed that deaf dogs were being overlooked. Someone was going to come in. She saw that deaf dogs were being overlooked and euthanized at high rates because hearing people do not know how to communicate with them. Megan began training dogs around 10 years ago and has specialized in training deaf dogs for 8 years. So Megan, thank you, and thank you for joining. I'm really happy that you are here. And we're going to talk about two things today, you guys. We're going to talk about the new Leash on Life program. The thing that I love most about this is it's everything I believe in, which is people helping dogs, helping people, and how that comes full circle around. And then the second thing that we're going to talk about is her work that she does with deaf dogs, because that's kind of a unique niche. And people have dogs who are deaf or they're in shelters, and those dogs are so deserving of loving homes. And there just needs to, you just help to close the gap on how people can communicate with them. So I want to touch on that too. And then while we're talking, you guys, if you have any questions or comments or input, please, you are welcome to join in the conversation. So let's start out with the new Leash on Life program. Why don't you first share with us exactly what the new Leash on Life program is, in case people don't know, and then tell us how you personally got involved with them.
Okay, so the new Leash on Life program takes dogs from local shelters, humane societies, and rescues and puts them into the prison for 6 to 8 weeks, depending upon the program. The dogs are trained by the inmates, and when they get out, they are well-behaved, well-trained pets. Some of the dogs have gone on from there to therapy dog training or service dog training, but the main goal of New Leash on Life is to just train well-trained pets. And so how I got involved is kind of a funny story. My husband makes fun of me because I love the show Lock Up. And so I saw, yes, I know. So I saw one of the other programs, Canine Cellmates, on Lock Up. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. I mean, it merges my two passions, helping dogs and helping people. And yeah, like you said earlier. So I was like, okay, I have to see if there's something like that around me that I can get involved in. Well, I was just searching Canine Cellmates, so obviously there was nothing in my area. But a couple years later, I saw a Facebook post from New Leash on Life looking for people to partner with in my state to help with a prison program. I was like, well, obviously that would be perfect. So when I talked to them, they said that they were looking to put deaf dogs into the program. Well, obviously, there's where I come in, because I've been training deaf dogs for the past 8 years. So I went into the program to teach the inmates how to train deaf dogs.
That is awesome. And it was probably the perfect timing too for you. So, you know, when you were first looking, maybe the timing wasn't right. And now you were able to really introduce your area of expertise, your specialty training, just at the perfect moment for this organization to be able to take off. So that's awesome. I love that. And you know what else I love too, Megan, is that you have this idea based on, you know, the show that you saw. And a lot of people would take one step and try to, you know, investigate and maybe push, not follow through, but you actually followed through. Right. And so obviously that was something that was really important to you. I commend you for that. So tell me, you know, when I think about dogs going into prisons and, you know, the volunteers that are going in and out, are there certain requirements or are there certain restrictions, like what the new Leash on Life, what types of security or prison environments does that program operate in?
When you want to become a volunteer for New Leash on Life, you have to go to the prison and take a safety class. So I spent 4 hours one night at the prison taking a class. They show you videos. They make sure that you know what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. You obviously aren't allowed to touch or hug inmates. They're not allowed to touch or hug you. There's certain things like that, what you can wear and what you can't wear to the prison. You obviously cannot bring cell phones, cameras, things like that into the prison. So they run down all those rules for you. They also let you know if something were to happen to you, what they would do on your behalf and what they wouldn't if you're in the prison. So let's say there's a hostage situation. They're not going to negotiate except for maybe getting the inmates a pizza. Okay. So that's where you really have to decide, is this really for me? Because they kind of, I think they want to scare you, you know, or to at least give you a healthy sense of where I'm going, you know.
What kind of prisons are they? I mean, are these minimum security? Are these high, you know?
For New Leash on Life, it's minimum and medium. Now, other programs go to maximum, but New Leash on Life is strictly minimum and medium, and I was in a medium security prison.
Okay. And then based on the crimes, is there any restrictions as to who gets a dog? If they've committed a particular crime, they don't qualify?
Obviously, animal abuse. If the inmates have any kind of animal abuse in their history, they are not allowed to be in the program. Inmates who have sexual offenses, because most of the volunteers for the program are female, and so they don't want to put us in a bad situation or a situation that we feel uncomfortable with. You also don't know what the inmates did going in. Now, it's public record. I could have went online and Googled and found out what they had done to get in, but I decided that I wanted to not go in with stereotypes or not go in prejudging these people, and to let them show me who they were. So I chose not to know.
I love that. I just want to touch on that for 1 second because just like dogs in shelters, when we're walking up and down the corridor and looking at each one, sometimes it's helpful when you don't know their history. You can't prejudge what the dog is and and how they might behave with you. So I like that you did that in the same way, giving those people the benefit of the doubt to show up for what they're going to be doing rather than be completely convicted based on what they did in the past, right? And
right.
Themselves as a person. So on the inmate side, though, how do they become part of the program? What kind of interview process or application process? How do they get selected as qualified to participate as one of the trainers?
So for me as a trainer, I just applied through New Leash on Life.
And no, not you.
The actual
inmate. How do they get selected?
They do the same thing. So New Leash on Life actually will put out on their Facebook page or on their website when they're looking to expand to other states or cities or things like that. And then local shelters or humane societies or whatever can approach them and fill out an application. Those people that apply do have to have insurance, their own insurance. So the shelter or humane society that would be involved has to have their own insurance as one of the major requirements.
Okay. And so people actually still have insurance even though they're in prison?
No, the entity that goes into the prison. So like if the New Leash on Life is partnering with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Animal Control, Charlotte Animal Control has to have their own insurance for the dogs that are going in.
Got it.
Like the dogs have to be insured.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing that I found out going in.
That is interesting. So what about the inmates? So let's say there's 100 inmates in a facility. They've all done.
No, there's my deaf dog who came from the Leash on Life program.
Oh.
He has anxiety, so he might sit here for a minute, but if that's okay.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We want to see him, and he's loving on Mama. I love that. The actual inmates who are in the prison, do they have to go through a special screening process?
They do.
Okay.
So they cannot have, once you're in prison, you can still commit crimes in prison, or you can still do things that are against the rules in prison. So these inmates cannot have things on their prison record, such as like fights or excessive amounts of things on their record, like disobeying the rules, fights, things like that.
What about aptitude or ability to learn or teach? Is there any testing in that regard?
No, and we were lucky that we had a couple of the inmates that were trainers before they came to prison.
Oh.
So those inmates obviously got chosen first if their prison record was good. If they were, had good behavior in prison, they obviously got chosen because they were trainers on the outside.
Okay.
The other people are it's more based on, it's almost a reward system for the inmates. It's something for them to aspire to.
Right.
I want to not break the rules. I want to not get in fights so that I can have a dog and so
right.
I can get more freedom, because the inmates in the program do have more freedom.
Right.
They get more free time and things like that, because obviously they have to take the dogs out to the bathroom and things like that. So they get a lot more yard time and a lot more freedom. So it's almost a reward to the inmates to be in the program.
Yes. So how many are actually in the program at one time, like a class?
It depends on the size of the prison. Anywhere from 10 to 30.
Oh, wow.
Kind of average. It just depends on the size of the prison and how many dogs that they can house in the prison. Some of the prisons house the dogs in the cells with the inmates, but if the cells are too small, they house them in a separate room in crates overnight.
Okay.
So it just depends on the setup of the prison, how many prisoners are there, that kind of thing. It's a prison by prison thing as far as that goes.
Okay, awesome. So, how often do the volunteers come in to assist in the training process? Are you doing this daily? Is it a weekly class?
Typically once to twice a week. In the beginning, especially if you have a brand new group of inmates, you may have to go a little bit more often. But once the inmates get the routine and have gone through a few sessions, they pretty much know what to do. So we only have to come in once or twice a week just to kind of catch up, see what's going on,
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Okay, and so we know the effects that canines have on people. Give me some examples, if you can, of shifts and changes that you see once an inmate has been working with the dog, creates a sense of responsibility, they have a sense of purpose. What kind of things are you seeing on the human end of the leash in terms of shift, change, growth for that person?
I always say that these dogs and the inmates understand each other on a level that you and I couldn't understand a dog or understand an inmate because they've been in very similar situations in life. They've been forgotten, they've been discarded by society. People assume that, they're worthless or they're, dangerous or they're, you hear all those things about rescue dogs. Oh, well, they're there for a reason. Are they dangerous? Are they going to make a good pet? So the same thing happens with the inmates. People just assume because you're in prison, you're dangerous. That's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
So the dogs and the inmates really just create this bond because they understand each other on a level that I don't think most people could really understand. And obviously, a lot of inmates suffer from depression and things like that because they have been forgotten by society, by their families sometimes. So when the dogs come in, it just completely changes everything for them. They have a purpose. They have a reason to live. They have something to aspire to. A lot of them want to become dog trainers if they can get out of prison. Some can't, unfortunately, but if they can get out of prison, they want to be dog trainers when they get out. There's not a lot of trade type of things that they teach people in prison. So a lot of these inmates have been in prison longer than they have been in the outside world. And so if they were to get paroled or they were to come out, well, what would they do? And so how would they keep from going back to prison? So this actually gives them an outlet. They can get a job as a dog trainer when they get out of prison. So it gives them a little bit of hope too for when they get out that they can maintain, a lifestyle outside of prison as well.
Yeah, really good point, and an incredible observation on what you said earlier about their ability to understand because they both, in different worlds, are going through a lot of the same things. So thank you for doing that. How long is the class? So when an inmate gets a shelter animal or something from the Humane Society, a rescue dog for them, how long are they actually staying with that inmate?
6 to 8 weeks typically.
Okay.
In most prisons. For this prison, we did 8.
Okay. And so here in that 8 weeks, that inmate is bonding and loving the time that they're having with this pet. What do you do to prep the inmate for that separation where they're actually giving the pet over or back?
We have a huge graduation day. So people from the outside, like just civilians, can come to graduation. Also, the people that are adopting the dogs come to graduation. And so the inmates basically show off all the things that they've taught the dog in the 8 weeks during graduation. The dog gets a certificate, the inmate gets a certificate. So it's just a big production. They get food from outside brought in, which they always just, obviously get prison food. So they're so excited for pizza or chicken or whatever is brought in. Sodas, they obviously don't have soda in prison. So sodas, things like that. So they get really excited for graduation day. And so then New Leash on Life set it up to where as one dog is going out, another dog is coming in. So they get a new dog the same day that their previous dog graduated. So they don't have any
downtime to get sad that their dog has
exactly. They have to immediately jump in and start training that new dog, so they don't really have time to be upset or to be depressed about their previous dog leaving.
Oh, that's so brilliant, and it's so great to create a celebration around this. How motivating and inspiring for those inmates, and I would imagine too they truly do feel a sense of worth as they should, that they're contributing and making a difference for future families. So one thing you said, and I just wanted to clarify, are all these dogs, when they're going through graduation, are their adoptive families already there, or they're just going to go back to the shelter and they're be put out to get adopted?
hang on a second.
Yeah,
I'm
go
so
right ahead.
sorry.
I've been there.
And I'm home alone with my
No,
dogs.
no, go right ahead.
I'm so
You
sorry.
go get them. So while she's getting her dog out of the trash, I will share that that same thing just happened here about maybe 5 minutes ago. Except that I'm at the office, and so my team is taking care of Bolo, who just I heard in the kitchen down the way too, just knocked over a trash can in hopes of getting somebody's leftover scraps from lunch or whatever. If you're just tuning in, I just want to remind you that you can enter to win our free giveaway, the No Dog Left Behind, which goes to support Camis and Canines. By the way, I want to give Camis and Canines a big plug right now. If you have been following us, you know that we are supporting and so honored. I am beyond honored to spend time with Kalani Kreuzberg and his team that is growing this phenomenal nonprofit, Camis and Canines. They are about to do a major hike, a physical feat. Hold on one second, Megan. I'm sharing with them about our.
I'm so sorry.
They're doing a Hump for Heroes, hiking from a region in a little bit north of LA all the way down to their a special property that they're in the process of purchasing in San Diego, with the objective of raising funds. They're going to be walking 22 miles a day. The obvious is, symbolizing the 22 suicides that take place each day in our veterans world, and raising funds so that they can secure this land. If you have not looked at what they are doing, I really want to extend an invitation for you to take a look, because this one man, former homeless Marine as well, is just and as a result, he's been able to get veterans off the street. He is rescuing dogs that are about to be euthanized. He has a facility that they're trying to secure in San Diego, where these gentlemen and women can go, where they're getting free food, where they're getting skill training, the therapy from training these dogs, as well as just a sense of purpose in life. And I just feel all of us owe it to the veterans for the freedom for our independence. So anyway, just a big plug on Camis and Canines. We'll put in the link here as well, so you guys can check them out. And I encourage you to just go to the Dog is Good link, and if you'd like to make a donation, we really would welcome that. Every bit helps, so we really appreciate that. Our objective is to help them raise $350,000 so they can secure this land. All right, Megan, welcome back. And I was just sharing that I had the same issue here. Bolo got into a trash can. I heard it.
They were playing and they knocked something over. So.
Oh, okay.
But now
my team is able to straight out there. I understand you're home alone. Okay, so what I was asking is, gosh, what was I asking? I lost my train of thought. About your.
Okay, y'all can't play in here. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down.
They're fine. Don't worry about it.
It's like I'm home alone, and it's like normally my husband would run interference, but
no worries, no worries. It's bothering you more than it's bothering us. I promise you.
Okay.
So it's not bothering us at all.
It's so loud when she plays; it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you guys you're fine.
Okay.
So bottom line is this: your program is 8 weeks. There's anywhere from 10 to 30 dogs. They're giving those dogs over. Those families adopted right away because they're well mannered now. And some of them go on to become service dogs. But basically, it's really making a difference in the lives of these inmates, giving them a sense of purpose. I wanted to ask you, how did you get so focused in and niche in on working specifically with deaf dogs?
I went to college to be a special ed teacher, and so I took a lot of classes in the interpreter education program. So I took ASL courses. When I started volunteering in rescue, I started noticing that deaf dogs were being overlooked and euthanized at very high rates because people just didn't understand how to communicate with them. It's such a simple thing to be able to get a dog adopted just by teaching people a few signs. And so I was like, well, I have a unique skill set to where I can teach these people how to do this. So I originally started by shadowing some local trainers and things like that. I started working with some rescues just for free. Just they would bring in a deaf dog, I'd work with them. And so that's kind of how it started. So then after that, I actually took some training classes and things like that, and for the purpose of becoming a deaf dog trainer. I do train, typical dogs too, but there's a million typical dog trainers, so I just figured if I can do it, why should I not? I
Right.
can save so many dogs doing it. So
Absolutely. So it's such a great niche, and it definitely sets you apart. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I'm looking at all those value-added propositions, if you will, and that's one that really is very unique. Is there anything that you can share with our viewers that might be dealing with a deaf dog? Is there a tip that you can share that might help them and foster a greater level of communication?
honest to goodness, a deaf dog is no different than a hearing dog. It's
Right?
all about your perception. So
Mm.
people tend to feel sorry for deaf dogs or tend to think, oh, well, they can't hear me, so how am I going to train them? Well, a lot of people, if you think about it, train hearing dogs with hand signals already. So you basically do the exact same thing you would do with a hearing dog, you just add in a couple signs. Takes you a few minutes to learn a few signs and they're good to go. But as you can tell from all the chaos that mine have been causing, the deaf dog is no different than the hearing dog. It's just all about my perception of him.
So true. And I know when I'm working with dogs, I actually don't even talk. I don't speak.
Mm-mm.
It's all about how, for me, body posture, some hand signals, and just, and I quite honestly, people, I really think our dogs would appreciate if we stopped talking to them so much. It's
Yes.
a training process because
Especially that high pitched baby voice that people like to do. Yes, they would love for us to stop that.
and it's confusing because when they're hearing cueing and different things from different people, it's never the same way. So I
Right.
think oftentimes there's a sense of relief for a dog when they can just focus on what one of their best skill sets is, and that's reading body language.
Right.
So that's awesome. Let's see. So we have some. I apologize, I wasn't seeing some of the comments earlier, but Judy had asked what cities New Leash in Life operates in.
They are mostly East Coast. So the one I was in is in North Carolina. They actually have several in North Carolina right now. Different places up near Raleigh. I'm in the Charlotte area, so there's a few in this area. But they're mostly East Coast.
Awesome. And let's see what else. Somebody had another question or comment. Cheryl was saying, yeah, reminding us it's a total win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you're combining people like that, whether it's an inmate, whether it's a homeless veteran, whether it's a challenged, adolescent, giving them the opportunity to be in charge of, to be in care of, to provide nurture, to another creature gives one a very strong sense of purpose and can really foster and help them in whatever capacity. So true there. Yeah, it is. It's such a great, this is so fascinating. I'm so impressed by you and your commitment to the volunteer work that you do and to your training business that helps so many people. And do you also do work still with any of the kids that are as well, or just dogs?
I work with special needs kids. I've been volunteering with them. I actually went to school to be a special ed teacher, but then it never happened. My full time job, I actually work with my dad. We sell commercial restaurant equipment. So
Oh,
could not be any further off than
great.
what I thought I was going to do with my life. So
Wow.
I love it so much that I still volunteer quite a bit. I volunteer with the Tim Tebow Foundation, with Night to Shine, and a couple other organizations, the Down Syndrome Society, Autism Speaks, a lot of organizations like that, to still continue to work with people with special needs. I couldn't see myself not doing that.
You are a tremendous human being. I
Thank
feel
you.
so lucky to be having this conversation with you. One of the things that we do here at Dog is Good every week is get our entire team together, and we do focus our conversation around how we can become better people and how we can become a better company. So personal and professional development. And our focus of topic today was about making an impact and how we can make an impact, however small, because of the ripple effect that can occur as a result of our time making a difference and doing that independently as a person, but also as a company. And just what you do, the way you live your life, your values, which you wear wholeheartedly on your sleeve about contribution, really is very powerful. And so I thank you for doing that. And I'm really happy to hear what you're doing with everybody out there. And I would imagine that New Leash on Life is an organization that also probably needs funds. So you can look them up. I think we put the link in here too. And feel free to find out how you personally can get involved with them if you choose to, or if you want to make a contribution to continue their what they do. I really appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Megan? We'll give people just a second. If you're thinking of questions, I'm going to show the giveaway one more time. No Dog Left Behind. You can enter to win that. Bolo is knocking on my door, scratching on my door. Hold on, Bolo. I'll be there in a second. So funny. Love that dog. In the meantime, I want to thank you, Megan, for being part of our program today. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to ask you to share. And if you're just watching the replay now, my name is Gila Kurtz. I'm one of the co-founders and co-owners of Dog is Good, lifestyle brand for dog lovers. And excited to share what we have here and all the cool people who are fans and also who want to introduce us to people to share with you too. So just a reminder, if you know somebody that you think would make a great guest on this show, please share them with us. Thanks so much and have a great Wednesday. Take care. And bye-bye. Yeah, oh wait, Judy has one thing. Sorry, let me just look. Previous post, Judy, hold on. Let's see. Do they work with kill shelters? If so, when they get the dogs back to the... Oh, okay, great question. Let me just ask you this. She's asking if you work with the kill shelters, and if when the dogs get returned, do they automatically get removed from the no-kill or from the kill list if they were in lineup for euthanization?
Yes, so they work with kill shelters and no-kill shelters. If the dog originally came from a kill shelter and isn't adopted, which is very rare that a dog is not adopted by the time they go to graduation, but if they are not adopted, then they go into a foster. They don't go back to the kill shelter.
I'm so happy to hear that because there is just nothing worse. Can you imagine being in certain... Now that's great. Okay, so Judy, I hope that answered your question. And that was a great question. So thank you for asking that. In the meantime, everybody have a great Wednesday. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.